Matthew Pennycook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome this important debate, which, given the volume of correspondence that I'm receiving on the subject, and I'm sure other honourable members I know, is being watched closely by a great number of my constituents. As other honourable members have said, we do not yet know the precise details of what the Chancellor will unveil in his budget tomorrow. But if the assault on tax credits is anything like what has been trailed in the press over recent days, many thousands of families in my constituency will be bracing themselves this evening for a big hit to their household budget tomorrow. I'd like to just briefly examine the implications for my constituents of the potential proposal that has received the most attention over recent days, a reduction in the value of the child element of the child tax credit to return it to its 2003-04 level in real terms. That entitlement is paid to a total of approximately 9,300 families in my constituency and currently benefits 17,500 children. Over two-thirds of those families are in work, and the annual value of the child element for each is £2,780. Scaling it back to its 2003-04 level would constitute a reduction in support of 30%, costing those families a staggering £845 a child. A reduction in a family budget on that scale will be deeply damaging, and by its very nature, the impact will be felt disproportionately by women, by ethnic minorities, and by single-parent households like the one I grew up in. We know that the Chancellor is likely to defend the measures by taking an axe to tax credits on this scale, by pointing to the much-vaunted pledge to lift low-income households out of tax altogether. In the Prime Minister's words, to end the merry-go-round of people paying tax while also receiving state support. But they're both tilting at straw men. As my honourable friend, the member for Birmingham Lady, has already mentioned, over half of the families claiming tax credits already pay no tax at all. And for those that do pay, the likely options of bringing forward either a raising the personal allowance threshold or the national insurance threshold, while easing the strain, will not get anywhere near compensating for the scaling reductions to in-work support that we're likely to see. Mr. Speaker, few, if any, now believe that the growth in tax credit support that occurred over the last 17 years can be repeated. But let's be clear, tax credits are necessary, and they'll continue to be necessary, not just to incentivise employment and reduce child poverty, but to address the underlying flaws in a low-pay, low-skill, low-productivity economic model that requires significant amounts of in-work support. For all their flaws, tax credits have provided a lifeline for those on lower middle incomes. Yeah. And they would still be necessary in some form, even if the UK became a living wage economy overnight. Yeah. Of course, we need to be open-minded about the need to simplify what is a fiendishly complex system. And we should question rigorously the sustainability of the underlying economic model that has made them necessary. But while doing so, let's not delude ourselves that another deeper round of cuts to tax credits is going to do anything other than cause untold hardship for thousands of families in my constituency and across the country who rely on this state support to make the most of their lives.